Hello. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. Let me turn my audio on here. I think it's off. There we go. Turn the sound on. Wow, Moonscape MSCP is down 21.19%. Wow. That's a big drop. Got a market drop today. Those who were looking at, $74,000 Bitcoin. Sorry. It didn't happen. So we got close. We got within, $700 or something. Let me see. The all-time high now is standing at 73,750. And I had predicted 74,350. So I was $600 off from my estimation. Not bad. Not bad. Not too bad. I must say, that was a good prediction. Let's promote this over on the other channels here. I didn't go to Truth Social or Twitter yet. We're going to be talking about Brian Kilmead and Rand Paul this morning. We just saw just one of the best interactions I've ever seen between a Fox News anchor and a politician. And it was devastating for Fox News. Devastating. They could get sued over what Brian Kilmead just said. And Rand Paul was pointing it out. He's like, you can get in a lot of trouble for what you just said about a big corporation. And Brian was like, no, it's true. And he's like, no, you're lying and you're defaming a company and you could get in a lot of trouble for this. And, it happened before with your company where you got fined $1 billion and you had to pay it. Now it's happening again, and you're going to get fined another $1 billion, and you're going to lose your job, Brian. You better start dealing in facts, mister. So there's this giant narrative that you've heard that TikTok is harvesting our data to give to the Chinese government to rule over us, right? That's the narrative. Of course, it's been proven multiple times that it's just not true. This is just not the case. It's just a social media platform from China. We have a lot of things from China. I'm not even going to get into it. I'm not even going to try to explain through it. It's just so dumb. But the dumbest part is that without any facts or any information other than just hearsay and narrative, people like Brian Kilmead and the morons at Fox News and so many other people are willing to grab this narrative and say that they know for a fact that China is using TikTok to spy on us and to mine our information and to use it against us. And Rand Paul has the facts. And he went on Fox News and he blew Brian Kilmead out of the water and literally looked to his face and called him a liar twice. He said, that's a lie. You're telling a lie, Brian. You're a fucking liar. Let me just say it, Rand. He's a liar. I'll say it for you. And it's awesome because the look in Brian Kilmead's eyes is such a show of frustration, such a show of ignorance and indoctrination and cultism. To see how frustrated he is with Rand Paul is one of the most freeing, most awesome things you will ever see. It is just so nice to see these liars get called out as the liars that they are. I do it on here all the time, but Rand Paul gets to actually sit there right next to Brian Kilmead and call him a liar to his face. I'm jealous. Yeah, I'd love to be able to do that. I'd love to sit down with Brian Kilmead and say, you're a liar. And I'd like to fight you for it. I'd like to step into a ring and fight you over the fact that you're a fucking liar. Just so I can beat the truth into you. That would make me feel better. I'm pretty sure that this interaction is not going to be up on the internet because it just happened live, and I just saw it. But I'm going to do a quick search and just see if maybe we'll get lucky. Let's see here. Those notifications go out. Maybe I should check that. Let's see. Yeah, we're looking good. Yep. Okay, great. Okay, great. We are live. Notifications went out. Let's refresh this chat right here. Okay, great. Wow, 9 people over there. And on the Rumble, we've got 6 people watching over there. Okay, great. Just started the show. I'm just going to do a quick search. I'm sure it's not going to come up yet, but Brian Kilmead, Rand Paul. There's no way it's going to be up already. Yeah. 6/19/13. 10 years ago. Yeah, so. So, yeah, it's not, of course, I knew it wasn't going to be up. Let me just put TikTok. Rand Paul blocks attempt to ban TikTok nationwide 11 months ago. Rand Paul, Brian Kilmead on-air debates gets heated 5 years ago. Hey, Michael Haskey. Oh, am I not on Rumble? I forgot the Rumblebee Bumblebee, guys. I forgot to set up Rumble. So funny. Okay, here, give me a second. I got this. Thank you, Michael Haskey, for telling me. Holy moly, I forgot to set up Rumble. I told you just yesterday that sometimes this happens. Son of a gun, and now it's happening right now. Isn't that funny? Sometimes I forget to set up Rumble. That's why it was so nice to have that. That is so funny that I literally said that yesterday on yesterday's show, and then today I did it, and that's why nobody's here. I'm not even live yet, am I? Oh my God. It says 8 viewers waiting. It's just running the intro. Thank you, Michael Haskey. That earned you some crypto. That just earned you some Bitcoin. Yes, it did. Romaine, here's a tip from me to you and your husband. Michael Haskey just earned some Bitcoin, everybody. Wow, look at that. Doing some producing. Thank you, bro. There you go. I appreciate that. You do have my back, and I just got you some Bitcoin. Bitcoin's got your back, bro. So sorry to everybody on the Rumble. Waiting to see if it goes. There it goes. I apologize to all of you for getting that wrong. Okay. Once again, I messed up, and I'm going to have to start the whole show over. Okay, here. We'll do this. We'll do this. Great. You're welcome. Thank you for having a wonderful husband, Romaine, who just let me know that I wasn't live on Rumble. The only person to figure out how to come on over to another channel and say, hey, Rumble's not going. Thank you. That's pretty intelligent of you, man. That's why you've got some crypto. Nobody else thought, hey, maybe I should contact Nay and let him know he's not live on Rumble. But I got Michael Haskey covering my ass producing for me. So thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't say Rumblebee Bumblebee before the show, obviously. Yeah. So I screwed up. Isn't that funny that we just talked about that yesterday? And I did it today. Anyhow, so unfortunately, this interaction between Brian and Rand Paul, it's not available yet on the internet. I have a feeling it'll come up in the next few days and we'll be able to watch it. But I'm here to tell you that TikTok is not inherently evil. They're not mining your data, and there's no evidence to support that. And that there are millions of Americans and people all over the world who benefit from using TikTok. And the United States making an attempt to ban it only shows you that Republicans do not care about your free speech. They do not care about your welfare. They don't care about your rights. Okay, Republicans were behind this. People like Brian Kilmead. And luckily, Rand Paul was there to put up his hand and say, stop, you're being an idiot. And plenty of Democrats got on board with this too. So Republicans aren't the only ones with blood on their hands. But here's the good news. It only passed the House. So it got through the House, but it still needs to go through the second step. And then the president has to sign it into law. So if it doesn't make it through the Senate, it doesn't pass. And there's a lot of senators right now who are speaking out against this bullshit. So right now, I don't know what the vote would be, but it doesn't look like it's going to pass. They said it's a massive violation of your First Amendment rights, of your free speech, and that fucking House passed it. So what does that tell you about the majority of the House members? They don't care about your free speech. They don't care about anything except themselves. And, oh yeah, they'll just take bullshit like Brian Kilmead bullshit reporting and use that as the weight against our free speech. Like just total nonsense. No facts, no evidence to back it up. But that's all they needed to take our rights away from us. What does that tell you? That they're drooling. They're frothing at their mouths to take our rights away from us. They can't wait to take more rights away. And you know what one fucking dumb cunt said in that fucking House right before Marjorie Taylor Greene? He's like, well, why are we just doing TikTok? We're going to have to do this to all social media platforms. Wow. All social media platforms. They're going to take them all down? Well, you know, if I was y'all, I'd be pretty fucking, the hair would be standing up on the back of my neck right now. I'd be pretty interested in what's going on. And I'd have my ear to the ground and I'd be watching the news and I'd be watching reports coming out on the internet. I'd be watching podcasters that are covering it and I'd be speaking out against it. And if I had the gumption, I'd get out in the street and protest this bullshit. Ted Samples, good morning. So now we're live on the Bumblebee. Craig, hey Craig, these politicians are ridiculous. And so, once again, I'm going to reiterate, no, they haven't banned TikTok yet in the United States. There's some morons out there who are reporting that it's been banned. There's some fucking... You want to know who said it? Fucking douchebag, crypto kid. Oh, TikTok's been banned in the United States. No, it hasn't, you little fucking weasel bitch. No, it hasn't. Shut the fuck up. You know, get your news straight before you start blabbing it around and scaring everybody. The House passed the bill to ban it, but it's still got to get through the Senate, and then the president has to sign it, so just wait, okay? And then it's not even going to take effect for 6 months, supposedly. And wait for TikTok to sue the shit out of goddamn the United States government. Because that's going to happen too. According to Rand Paul, there's hundreds of American employees that work for TikTok, if not thousands. Americans that are going to lose their jobs over this bullshit. Over Republican tears. Salty Republican tears of fear and having little dicks. So they've got little dicks, so their response is to take our fucking rights away from us. If we can't have nice things, neither can you. Double bottom just formed on Bitcoin. Beautiful. We're going up. It's 72,973. Look for 73. At least 73,200, and maybe we'll bounce around there for a little bit. We're going up. I predicted this. The proof is right here. Just wait for it. It's what I do on this show every day. So we got Craig and we got Michael. And we've got Ted, and that's it. 3 people watching, supposedly. I mean, according to this, there's 22. There's 22 people watching the show, and only, out of 22 people, supposedly, only 3 of you are able to say anything in the chat. Evie P, what's up, buddy? Great. Thank you for saying hello. Thank you. 989, 72, 980. Didn't I just tell you this was going to go to 73? Yeah, I did. I told you. That's a double bottom formed. Man, I wish I could pull up that fucking Brian Kilmead Rand Paul interview. Ugh, I wish it was up on the internet. I wish I had grabbed my phone and recorded it. I should have at least done that. I was just too shocked by what Brian Kilmead was saying. I was like, he's such an idiot. I said, watch. I said to my fiance, I said, watch. I said, when Brian starts talking again, all he's going to say is China, 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 balloons. And she kind of giggled and blah, blah, blah. Sure enough, he did. Beijing, Beijing, China, balloons. She looked at me and she was like, I was like, am I right? Did I nail it? And she's like, you nailed it. Yeah. Balloons, guys. Fox News and the fucking Chinese spy balloons. You know, that's why TikTok has to be banned. But it's not banned, as I said before, and these people are misrepresenting the truth, and people like Crypto Kid are fucking lying to their audiences because people like Crypto Kid are fucking liars. This is not financial advice. That's a lie. It's definitely financial advice. You're a fucking liar. Who's telling the truth over here? I am. I just told you we're going to hit 73,000. Boom, we hit it. On cue. Why? Double bottom just formed. I told you. I said we're going to go up to like 73,200. Watch. Watch. Crypto Whisperer trending A. Who else is here today? Come on, guys. Speak up. Let me know if you're here or not. I can't be a politician. Sure, Michael. Double bottom. That a W correct for win. Yes. Well, is there anybody else who can say hello to me in the chat that hasn't yet already said hello to me in the chat? I've got Michael. I've got Ted. I've got Craig. Michael, Ted, and Craig. She already made a penny on what I just sent you? It's going up. Right? Ted Samples and Heavy P. Why don't both of you come on over to Rumble? I'm rumble.com/user/Nays Garden/live. We'll bring you right to the show, guys. I can just give you a link, but Ted, you're watching from Facebook. Facebook won't let me share a link with you. So you shouldn't watch the show from Facebook at all. You should be either watching from YouTube or anybody else where you will see a link where Mark Zuckerberg doesn't have his dick down your fucking throat. Okay? Keeping you from speaking, keeping you from getting links. Ted Samples, is that we'd rather have Mark Zuckerberg's dick down your throat and watch on Facebook? Or you want to come to Rumble where we get free speech? Take Mark Zuckerberg's dick out of your throat. Come on over to fucking Rumble or at least fucking YouTube, where at least you'll get a link. You know, but Facebook, dude, really? Come on. You guys that persist and you insist on watching from Facebook, you know what it says about you to me? When I tell you that you don't get free speech over there and you ignore me and you act like, yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind being muzzled and controlled. You know what that says about you? I don't even want to tell you. Maybe you could just figure it out. Someone who will refuse to come to a free speech platform because they're more comfortable with having someone muzzle them. Muzzle me. Stop you from getting links. stop you from saying certain words, and put you in jail. What's that say about you? Now, I'm betting that the people that are over there on Facebook have no idea what that says about them, that they couldn't even figure it out. That's why they're over there. That's why they're watching from Facebook. I have a feeling. They don't even know. All right. Fuck Facebook. Heavy P, come on over to Rumble, bro. I wonder what the show would be like if I completely ignored the chats and took them off screen and didn't even have them on my screen. I wonder what the show would be like. No chat. Oh, it would be just like this. Surprise. This is what it would be like. Heavy P, thank you. Thank you, Heavy P. You came over to Rumble. Wow, I'm fucking so blown away. Do you have a cash tag on Cash App? Heavy P, let me know. Let me know if you have a cash tag on Cash App. I'll send you some Bitcoin right now. Show me one other goddamn podcaster that'll do that for you. That was weird. I'd like to give it a taste just to say, hey, it's a good morning. Heavy P, download Cash App. It's free. Download Cash App and make a cash tag, and then I'll send you some free Bitcoin. You know why? Because you are 1 out of 5 people that just decided to say hello to me out of, a possible 30. Out of 30 people, bro, only 5 of you are talking to me in the chat right now. 30 people. Exactly 30 people. And Cali420, what's up, Cali420? There's Cali420 over on Instagram. Maybe they'll say hello. That would be great. Michael says, hey, if you don't want the Bitcoin, I'll take it. Okay. Let's say 24, 25, 30. 25, 30. 2530, enter. Okay, 25, 30. Big dab going down. Triple dab. Another trifecta. Samantha, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Now there's 6 of you. Great. 6 out of 30 that can talk. What are the chances, man? 30 people watching and only 6 of you have the ability to say anything to me in the chat. What does that mean about all the other people watching? I'm just kind of curious. Does that mean they're all blocked? Hey, Edwin Sparks, good morning. Oh, great. We got another one. Hello. So nice to see so much color coming up in the chat, guys. It's pretty. Look at all the different name colors. That's nice. I like it. It's an early one today. Yeah, I started early. I understand that. I totally understand that. But what I don't understand is when I see 30 people and I can only get 7 people to say hello to me, you know? That's what I don't understand. 2530, that's us. No law regarding cannabis. Cheers, everybody in the chats. Cheers. Cheers, honey. Mm-hmm. You want some of this dab, babe? What's that? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So if you guys are dabbing and you do a big enough dab, there's no reason why you can't pass that bubbler to someone else sitting next to you. They will get the same dab you got. I don't care if I go first or second on a dab like that. It's still smoking and there's plenty of tasty oil in that freaking bubbler. And you can hit it for as long as you want. So understand this. When you do these big dabs and that bubbler is still smoking, you're wasting it away. Somebody could be getting high off of that. So if you're taking your bubbler and you're hitting it, you're just setting it down and it smokes for 5 minutes and you got other people in the room, what are you doing? Why aren't you letting them hit that bubbler after you? Right? It's just the way dabs work, man. You're not going to smoke it, right? Now I'm sweating. That was awesome. Instant dab sweat. Cali 420 left. Whatever, ass swipe. Ass swipe. I come up with some pretty cool words on this. Hey, did you guys hear about Rand Paul and Brian Kilmead? I can explain to you the whole conversation. Brian Kilmead is pro, like Fox News, silencing you and taking your voice away from you by banning TikTok, which millions of Americans rely on. Hundreds of thousands of them probably make money on TikTok, you know, and put food on their table with the money they make on TikTok. And the cunts at Fox News, like Brian Kilmead, they're concerned about China mining your data, which they're not even doing. And there's no evidence of that happening. And yet, the House has passed a bill. Now, it's just the House. It's still got to go through the Senate, and then it's got to go in front of the president, right? So, unlike what Crypto Kid told his audience today, with thousands of people watching and fucking lying to them and saying that TikTok was banned in the United States today. No, TikTok was not banned in the United States today. The House passed a bill attempting to ban it, but it's still got to go through the Senate, it's still got to go through the president, and then TikTok's going to be able to appeal it. And, you know, if it got that far, which it won't, probably because of free speech violations. It's just, it shits all over your First Amendment rights. And most competent, intelligent human beings understand that. But look at the fucking House, and look at how the House voted. And you know, the majority voted to ban TikTok. They don't even understand free speech, man. And these are the people we voted for to lead us? You know, this isn't even about fucking how stupid Brian Kilmead is. He's not the one fucking passing legislation. It's the fucking cunts up there in Washington that listen to that fucker. So Rand Paul, who actually was making perfect sense today, you know, he doesn't always, but a lot of the times he does actually. He makes sense. And bam, they put him against Brian Kilmead on Fox this morning, and I just sat there like this. I couldn't fucking believe it. I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, Brian, you had to know going into this that you were going to get destroyed, that not only was he going to destroy you, but now because of your fat mouth, he just destroyed all of Fox News. Okay, so no one's reporting on this yet, right? Because no one has seen this, because I watched it live, and I went live with it immediately. So you're hearing it from me first. Most likely, in my opinion, Fox News is about to get sued again for maybe $1 billion again for defamation from what Brian Kilmead said to Rand Paul this morning twice. And he fucking lied. He said that the Chinese government owns TikTok and that they're mining your data. And Rand Paul looked at him and said, you know, you and Fox News can get sued for saying this. You're defaming a corporation and you have no evidence to back up anything you're saying. And in fact, I've researched it and found no evidence. And then Brian Kilmead gets this look in his eye. And the frustration and the emotion in his eyes, it couldn't be hidden. And he was trying to cut him off. He was trying to cut him short. And Rand Paul grabbed the fucking the mic basically and just ran. And he couldn't stop him. And he tried to cut the segment and he couldn't do it. And Rand kept talking and he got all of his points out there. And he called Brian Kilmead a liar to his face twice, which was fucking beautiful. It was beautiful. He said, you're lying and Fox News could get completely destroyed over this. And when Brian Kilmead realized how stupid he was being, oh man, dude. We have to cut to a hard break, he said. Oh yeah, it's fucking hard, bro. I've got a hard break. I'm up against a hard break, Rand. I gotta go. Yeah, right. And then it wasn't a hard break. And then he said, coming up next, we've got blah, 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 blah. That's not a fucking hard fucking break. Whatever. You're a fucking liar. It's even on simple shit like that, you fucking lie. A hard break would have been bam, right to commercial. That's a hard break. You know? Being able to talk before a commercial, that ain't hard. That's segueing out. If you understand production, you know Brian Kilmead is a fat fucking liar. And all he wanted to do was end that goddamn conversation because he's guilty of defamation. And you're going to see this, guys. It's going to come out. This is going to be huge. And this is the first podcast to cover that shit. You're not going to hear this anywhere else this soon. Why? Because I was eating my breakfast this morning with my fiance and we had Fox News on. Why? Because the fucking moron cunts over there at CNN all had 8-inch long eyelashes. I can't even look at them. They're idiots. Those stupid fucking eyelashes. God, I can't stand that shit. I even made a video about it. Just a short one. It would be great for TikTok, actually. If clown show bitches want to wear fucking drag queen eyelashes, and they think in their minds that it looks good, how can we trust any of the shit flying out of their stupid, fat, fucking, pumped-up lipped mouths? Can you take anyone seriously when they've got 10-inch long eyelashes? Do you think they take themselves seriously? Do you think they have a good basis for reality? When they looked in the mirror before they went to work or whatever the fuck, they put those stupid things on their eyes? You think they batted their eyelashes in the mirror and said, yeah, that looks good. That looks legit. You're a clown show. You're a drag show. They do that because drag queens are hyperbolic. So they have super long eyelashes because they're having fun with it. But we're supposed to take you seriously. You're a fucking clown show and you need to fuck off with your eyelashes. That's all I'm talking about right now. All of you stupid fucking cunts out there with your stupid long eyelashes. You're all dumb cunts. Fuck you. Now it's like, who was it who said it? And they said it so well. Who was that? Oh, it was our friend. That's right. It was It was Rossman. It was what's his first name? Ross something or Rossman, or I can't remember his name all of a sudden. Remember the show yesterday? Remember he said that. He said, you know what? There's certain situations, there's certain times where this language is required. You have to use this kind of language. He said, people email me and message me all the time. They say, oh, Louis Rossman. Louis Rossman said, you guys want to see this? This is great. Watch this. Watch this. Listen to what he says here.
I've been reading my email as much as I should for the past 2 months, and I do apologize for that. I've been making some massive life changes that I'm exceptionally excited about, and I'm kind of taking a lot of what I've been doing for the past 15 to 17 years, table flipping and trying something new. It's pretty fun. I've done this several times over the course of my life. Sometimes it goes very well, sometimes it goes very horribly. But one thing I've learned over the course of 35 years on this earth is that you should always be trying new things if something isn't working for you, or you just kind of get bored. Anyway, back to this. Hi, Louis. I turned on my 55-inch TCL Smart TV today to be greeted by a pop-up that said they made an important update with nothing but a single agree button on. And I talk about Silicon Valley companies. One of the things you may have heard me say on this channel many times that I get from Eli the computer guy is that they have a rapist mentality. They believe they have a God-given right to your data, to your information, to take away your rights, and to change the terms of the sale. In this case, there is no disagree button. There is only an agree button. Because for me, you're only allowed to say yes. I'm going to put the roofie in your drink, and you cannot say no. That's the way these companies think, and it's disgusting. Pressing back or any other key could not get you out of the pop-up, even to get to your HDMI input or other inputs. So a television is kind of like a monitor, and a monitor is something where you may have multiple inputs. You're going to want to choose one of those inputs so that you can connect something to it, like a Blu-ray player or a computer or a cable box or a DVR. And here, you're not allowed to do that unless you agree. You're not allowed to disagree. You're not allowed to say no. Fuck you. We want to change the terms of the sale, and we're going to do it right now. And because this device connects to the internet and you can't change it, we're dealing with the South Park Cable Guy episode. If you press star, it would show you details about the update, which was just a lengthy terms update adding all sorts of one-sided binding arbitration. Binding arbitration means that you cannot sue the company, you cannot take them to court for any reason, you can only go through arbitration. Arbitration is a process whereby the company hires a company to essentially investigate themselves. It's not a court that's paid for by your tax dollars, by society collectively.
All right, Michael, good luck.
That is paid for by the company that is being accused of doing something wrong that may decide to choose another arbitration company if this arbitration company finds against them. Imagine if I was on trial for murder and I got to choose which court, which judge, and which jury decided whether or not I'm guilty. And if I didn't like the decision that you gave me here, fuck it, I'll just go somewhere else. I'll go down the road and pay for another trial. Imagine if that was the way the world works. Welcome to the world of binding arbitration. Now, you may think that that's disgusting. You may think that that's inappropriate, which is precisely why when they cram this shit down your throat, they only do it in cases where you have no ability to disagree. Such as, you already paid for the product requires an internet connection to work, and they have the ability to disable you from being able to click onto your other fucking HDMI inputs unless they get to be rapists and get what they want. Agree.
Rapist.
Say yes, comply, or take the roofie. That is your motto tech company. So Roku pushed an update that essentially holds your TV hostage unless you agree to binding arbitration. I called TCL and they've apparently been getting quite a few calls about this. They were able to walk me through doing a factory reset, which as long as you don't connect to the internet afterwards, does work to allow you to use your TV again. Well, how Christian of you! I'm now allowed to use the product that I paid full price for after wasting 15 minutes factory resetting it, losing all my settings, having to do everything from scratch, and losing all the features and functionality with internet connectivity that I paid for because you decided to use that internet connectivity to hold me hostage. Similar to how certain political YouTubers may not like their wives being able to have their own fucking car, the internet connection that was once something that was used to give me freedom is now used to hold me hostage. Figured you might find this interesting. Let me know if you'd like me to mess around with it, to get some pictures if it may be helpful for you. Unfortunately, he was not able to get me the pictures that I was looking for because he clicked through it a little quickly. Over here you'll see on Gizmodo and TechCrunch, it says what's actually new in the perusal of terms is the whole informal dispute resolution section. This requires anyone with legal complaints to take them to local lawyers first, who will conduct a meet and confer call and then make a fair, fact-based offer of resolution. Suck my nutsack. That will no doubt be generous and thoughtful. So they've added a pre-arbitration arbiter to further distance legal threats from materializing. The change was actually made last fall, though no notifications appear to have been sent out, but only came into effect recently. I try to opt out of these when I can, and after reading the terms, which of course by continuing to use my TV, I had already agreed. By the way, again, just since you've been sitting next to me at this bar, just so you know, that continuing to sit next to me for the next 30 minutes constitutes enthusiastic consent to come home with me later.
Here it comes.
Oh, you didn't know I said that? I wrote it on the napkin. These companies genuinely act like rapists nowadays.
4210.
And I get so many comments
Here it is.
saying this is offensive. Louis, that language makes me bad. Don't use that. I don't care. It's language that needs to be used. This is the mentality that these companies have, and they're going to continue doing it and getting away with it unless people start pushing back.
You see that? It's language that needs to be used because they're not going to listen until you start pushing back hard enough. So when you hear me screaming and cursing and calling fucking stupid bitches cunts that look like fucking clown show drag queens with their stupid 10-inch eyelashes, understand, they're not going to listen until somebody screams in their fucking face and spits in their fucking face and they realize, yeah, okay, wow, I should probably look in the mirror and give myself like an honest look and really see what other people are seeing here. Because I don't know any legit people who actually like that look on women today. Especially a professional woman that's supposed to be a news anchor giving you serious news, and you can't take them seriously. They're talking about babies starving to death on the other side of the world, and they got eyelashes that are sticking to their fucking cheeks. No law regarding cannabis. Cheers, everybody. If you guys appreciate this, thank you. Keep watching the show. Keep coming back. Give me a thumbs up. Go across multiple channels. Make sure you subscribe to the main channel on YouTube, guys, and Rumble as well, and at Twitter. Cheers. No law regarding cannabis. Cheers, baby girl. She can't hear me. She's got headphones in. Girls are here. So, I've been in front of this for 10 years, right? I've been cursing up a storm, and I've been calling people out the way I felt that they should be called out. Louis Rossman has got this million following. I'm sorry, did I say a million? 2.04 million subscribers. Louis Rossman. Holy shit, bro. Wow, man, that's amazing. 2 million subscribers. But listen, he's got 2 million subscribers because he kept it nice and calm. And he's like, hello, and I hope you're having a lovely day. Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about, something that really kind of upsets me. And I get kind of mad when I talk about it. So this is my cat. He's very nice. And he keeps it like that. And I like watching him. And now, what does appearance have to do with news anyhow? Thank you for the perspective. I'm an old school feminist. I don't wear makeup. It's a terrible example for young girls. And I see news anchors covering their faces to be beautiful or acceptable. What does appearance have to do with news? Exactly. Thank you, Jess of the WWL. Thank you for that. Old school feminist. Thank you. You know, I completely agree with you. And it's like you could turn on what is that program? It's called I forgot the name of it, but it's got this woman. She just won't wear makeup. She's got white hair, short white hair, and she does legit reporting. But I can't remember what they're called. But yeah, she doesn't. You know, who cares if she's wearing makeup or not? Who cares how long her eyelashes are? You know, it's like. It's you don't have to dress up to give us the news, you know. And there's this fat woman on CNN, and she puts on all this eye makeup and she does her hair in all these stupid ways and wears all these dynamic clothes and shit. And I'm like, you know, if you just dress normally instead of trying so hard, you'd look a lot better. But because you wrap yourself up in these things, you just look like you look like moo. Cyber moo. It's a distraction, if anything. It's to me, Jess, what it says is, if you don't take your own appearance seriously, how can we take the news that you're telling us seriously? I listen to Louis Rossman. He's fucking, dude, he's a short little guy, but he's totally fucking jacked. In fact, I think he's probably not so much anymore, but he used to be fucking a monster. And not only that, but he dresses nice. He sits in that chair, and it's a nice little area, and he has self-respect. It seems like he takes pride in his own appearance. But, you know, he's not doing his show without a shirt on or wearing, you know, muscle shirts. You know, for the most part, I'm pretty sure he probably doesn't do that shit. And you know, try to impress us with like whatever impressive man clothes would dictate. I don't know. He takes his appearance seriously, and he's just like, I'm gonna look nice. I'm gonna do a nice presentation, right? That's all. That's where I want to get my news from. I mean, some more news as a comedy show. The guy totally messes up his tie and his jacket's ripped and shit, and he's unshaven and his hair's all messed up. And it's just because he's so fucking funny. And number two, what that guy talks about is super serious shit. So it's at such a point where some more news has to be hilarious because it's so the news is so bad what they report on. That's not as bad as what Louis Rossman reports on. But it's almost like it's a really good compliment because it's, you know, he reports on some horrible, horrible shit. But it's different because it's a comedy show. You know, it's a comedy show that reports on serious news, kind of like The Daily Show. Those are different shows. When you present yourself as a news station and your anchors are you know, you got men coming out wearing clown ass ties and clown ass jackets. Dude, I've seen dudes come out just unshaven, trying to look like fucking a rock singer. You know, like they don't shave the night before and they come out like that and they think that's cool. It's on the women and the men. And then the women with the fucking lips. You know, it's always with the fucking lips and the fucking faces pulled taut and the, you know, and then the fucking eyelashes. And you're like, you know, if you guys were a funny fun show or whatever, that wouldn't be a problem. But you guys are trying to represent yourselves as a serious news station, and we're never going to take you seriously again. If you allow these clowns, they got this one guy on CNN in the morning, a younger guy, super tall, dorky looking guy, and he used to do this dance coming out. We'd do like a different dance. And I was like, yeah, that ain't going to fucking last. And it didn't. And he stopped fucking doing it. You know, because I had a feeling people were going to complain about it. They're going to say, you know, you guys are letting this guy do this in the morning is not, you know, you just reported on a plane crash and you're going to have this cunt come dancing out. You fucking idiots. It's a news show. Take yourself seriously. Yeah, it might be 2024, but you know what? A lot of us were around before, you know, and we know what serious news used to look like. And we would appreciate it if you would, you know, keep it serious with us. A lot of you are in such a fucking hurry to get to idiocracy, you know? Or, you know, there's a lot of other movies where they show the fucking news from the future. I'm thinking of Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where they show the news and it's like so hyperbolic and violent and shit. And you're like, God damn, dude. Well, that's how the news is today, basically. How they portrayed it as some kind of a parody of what the future was going to be like. Little did they know, that's exactly how the future is. You know? Outrageous bow ties. Oh, I'm sorry you watched that station. I'd stop watching the station. I'd watch another channel, bro. I'd find another local station. Right, Jess? I agree. You know, so if they want serious people to take them serious, they'll start taking themselves seriously again. You know, and I just want to back up here to what Louis Rossman says.
By the way, you know, again, just since you've been sitting next to me at this bar, just so you know, that continuing to sit next to me for the next 30 minutes constitutes enthusiastic consent to come home with me later. And, you didn't know I said that? I wrote it on the napkin. These companies genuinely act like rapists nowadays. And I get so many comments from people saying this is offensive. Louis, that language makes me bad. Don't use it. I don't care. It's language that needs to be used. This is the mentality that these companies have, and they're going to continue doing it and getting away with it unless people start pushing back.
And that's it. And proud to say, you know, I was doing it first, man. I've been out here using the language, man, because it's the only thing that is it represents how I really feel. You know? If I was a poet, but I'm not. You know? Here, let's just listen to Rand Paul speak about this a day ago.
You may not know what TikTok is. I don't have it on my phone, but 150 million people in America use it every month. Ask your kids or grandkids to show it to you. They're on it all day long. And TikTok poses a real national security threat. It's owned by a Chinese-based company, and China requires its companies to share any data that they own with the Chinese Communist Party and its intelligence services. So about 150 million Americans TikTok has Your location, your age, your name, your passwords, your ID from your face, your text messages, your social media accounts, payment information, all sorts of stuff that China can get. And they can also manipulate the algorithm. It's one of the reasons why we believe so many young Americans are pro-Hamas rather than support Israel in the war. The Chinese change.
Those, I see, all those American kids are pro-Hamas because of TikTok, everybody. So, this fucking ass clown got fired from Fox News. Leland Bitters or whatever the fucking Bitters, whatever his fucking name is. I'm having a hard time right now getting the page up on screen. So just give me a second. Leland Bitters. There it is. Son of a bitch. So, this guy literally just lied. Exactly like, and these guys are going to get sued too. And now, what's funny is you guys are hearing about this first on my show. And, in the weeks or months to come when these lawsuits come up, you're going to be like, Nay, you totally nailed that shit about the lawsuits against those, for what they said about TikTok. Look, I'm just repeating what Rand Paul said.
Your location, your age, your name, your passwords, your ID from your face, your text messages, your social media accounts, payment information, all sorts of stuff that China can get. And they can also manipulate.
Really? China can get all my passwords? TikTok's giving all your passwords to China, everybody. That's literally what Leland Vitters just said. TikTok is going to sue the fuck. Watch. Look, this is my prediction. News Nation is going down. They're not even going to be able to handle this. There's no way they got $1 billion. Fox News, they're going to get sued for another $1 billion. Both of these companies are going to lose, and they're both going to have to pay up. They cannot just keep doing this lying bullshit. And I just can't believe how dumb these anchors are, that it's literally on them. It's their responsibility. They're the mouthpiece to sit there and actually tell a lie and not realize that they can get sued for this, and not realize that they can cost their company literally $1 billion from a lawsuit.
Manipulate the algorithm.
So let's go back. Let's listen to this all one more time.
Is. I don't have it on my phone, but 150 million people in America use it every month. Ask your kids or grandkids to show it to you. They're on it all day long.
They're on it all day long. That's all they do. So that's a lie right there. Your kids are not on TikTok all day long. And that's hilarious. So that's probably something TikTok can sue them for as well.
And TikTok poses a real national security threat.
Okay. They can sue them for that statement as well. Okay. There's a lie right there. Leland Vitters. Hey, TikTok. Hey, Nay's Garden is hooking you up with everything you need to sue these bastards for $1 billion. Defamation. Just like they sued, just like, the voting company Dominion sued Fox News for the exact same bullshit. I believe Newsmax or OAN got sued as well. Our kids are not on TikTok at all. There's a 13-year-old age limit. Well, Billy, that's not what he said. He said they're on it all day long. So, there you go, Billy. What's up?
Owned by a Chinese bait.
I'd rather have China know my password and location than the U.S. government. Here.
Company, and China requires its companies to share any data that they own with the Chinese Communist Party and its intelligence services. So about 100.
Any data, and that's every company has to share any data with the Chinese government. Rand Paul also, I believe he said that that was a lie.
150 million Americans. TikTok has your location, your age, your name, your password, your ID from
Here, listen to this one more time.
million Americans. TikTok has your location, your age, your name, your password, your ID from your face, your text messages, your social media accounts, payment information, all sorts of stuff that China can get. And they can all...
China can get all that information from TikTok. I have a feeling that they can prove that that's a lie in court and prove that this guy, Leland Vitters from News Nation, is defaming TikTok.
also manipulate the algorithm. It's one of the reasons why we believe.
So they believe that what he thinks, also, according to Rand Paul, is also a lie. China does not manipulate TikTok's algorithm. Interesting, right?
Leave so many young Americans.
All I'm doing is I'm just repeating what Rand Paul said on Fox News this morning with Brian Kilmead. They're also going to get sued. But let's just watch Leland Vitters dig this hole so deep. Now, I'm just here to tell you, I haven't seen this yet. But Rand Paul is about to come on, guys. And I have a feeling he's going to do to this motherfucker exactly what he did to Brian Kilmead. And that's why it was so easy for him, because he'd already walked through it with this guy.
Are pro-Hamas rather than support Israel in the war. The Chinese changed the algorithm just a little.
So there you go once again, calling them pro-Hamas. You know, I think there's enough defamation here that they can have more than $1 billion. I think that he's literally said so many things that there can just be charge after charge after charge for separate statements, not just for the broadcast, but for each separate statement he said that was a lie. That will be another charge, I believe. So here, let's turn this up louder. All right, here we go.
Rather than support Israel in the war. The Chinese are pro-Hamas. So many young Americans are pro-Hamas. The reasons why we believe so manipulate the algorithm. Sorts of stuff that China can get. And they can also manipulate the algorithm. It's one of the reasons why we believe so many young Americans are pro-Hamas.
So, according to Leland Vitters, TikTok's algorithm has been manipulated by the Chinese government. Stick with me on this, guys. In order to make American children pro-Hamas, not anti-genocidal, you know, not pro-Gazans, not pro-Palestine. No. It's the terrorist organization pro-Hamas. And Leland Vitters is literally stating it as fact on his news program. Now, I don't see anything on screen that says opinion. Do you? I see nation, but not opinion. Huh. Doesn't say this is an opinion show. Interesting. These are some crazy lies. Now listen, you're allowed to lie, but you know what you're not allowed to do? You're not allowed to defame an entity. So, you know, Rand Paul's the one that said that Fox News could get sued for what Brian Kilmead was saying this morning. I wonder if he tells this guy the same thing. I can't wait for Rand Paul to come on. I'm so excited.
Support Israel in the war. The Chinese changed the algorithm just a little bit, so the pro-Hamas stuff showed up more on TikTok. It is an incredibly powerful tool. Don't ask me. The FBI director just talked about how big of a threat to national security TikTok really is.
That kind of influence operation, or the different kinds of influence operations you're describing, are extraordinarily difficult to detect, which is part of what makes the national security concerns represented by TikTok so significant.
Yeah,
and yet tomorrow's bill
that proves nothing. What that man just said proved nothing. It's not even a piece of straw. It was unrelated to what this guy is claiming. So I want to go ahead and I want to play that back for you, and I want you to listen closely to what the government official said in under oath. Okay, listen to this one more time. Listen to exactly what this guy says.
That kind of influence operation, or the different kinds of influence operations you're describing, are extraordinarily difficult to detect, which is part of what makes the national security concerns represented by TikTok so significant.
Translation, there's no evidence of that, and if there were, we can't find it. We haven't seen anything that would prove that. There's absolutely no evidence of it whatsoever. That's the translation of it. That's what that man just said. Well, an operation like that would be, top secret, and we wouldn't be able to detect it. So, does that mean it exists? So what you're doing is you're admitting that you haven't detected any of that activity at all. That's what you're really admitting. You're admitting that you have no evidence to support that theory of what this other person is asking you. And Leland Vitters isn't going to let you hear the question, and Leland Vitters isn't going to let you hear what was said directly after this either, because Leland Vitters is trying to strawman you, like I said, with something that is unrelatable to what Leland Vitters is trying to convince you of. This is going to be interesting to see how
and
Rand
yet
Paul
tomorrow's
responds.
bill that could ban TikTok, to be clear, if they sell it, then it's no problem. There's some very vocal conservative opponents. Interestingly enough, President Trump was for banning TikTok and tried to. Now suddenly he's against it. Then there's Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky. With us now, Senator Rand Paul, author of Deception, the Great COVID Cover-Up. Senator, it's good to see you. Thank you. I think the book's important. Goes through what China did. They created a virus in a lab. Charitable explanation is that it escaped from the lab. Then China lied about it. They covered it up. And 1 million plus Americans died. If they're willing to do all of that, why is it okay for China to own a company and have access to so much?
So he literally starts on a false premise that's unproved. And number two, he starts on this false premise to build as a piece of straw to say, well, if they're guilty of this thing that they haven't been proven guilty of, then how can it be possible? That is, you're literally starting on a false premise, bro. You're starting your argument. You're starting on a false premise. It'll be very interesting to see if Rand Paul catches that and calls him on it.
And 1 million plus Americans died. If they're willing to do all of that, why is it okay for China to own a company and have access to so much of the personal information and control of the phones of so many Americans through TikTok?
Okay, number one, China doesn't own the company. Number two, you're a douchebag lying cunt motherfucker. Period. Bag lying cunt motherfucker, and someone should spit in your fucking face. Fuck you.
Well, there is this little sticking point. It's called the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. You're not really allowed to take property from people in the United States without due process. You have.
Boom. There you go. There's a little sticking point. It's called the Bill of Rights, Leland Vitters. You wouldn't understand that because you're a fucking numbnut cunt bitch motherfucker.
To go to court, you have to accuse them of a crime to take their property. The Fifth Amendment says you just can't take stuff from people. So the company TikTok is owned about 60% by international investors, including some Americans. So I don't know that you can take someone's property by fiat. You can't just sort of pass a law and take someone's property constitutionally. There also is the problem with the First Amendment. 180 million Americans use this social media platform to express themselves. And if the company is banned, or you say it can't have the current ownership and the company goes away, you're basically taking their First Amendment rights away with them also.
Hey, what the fuck happened to Rumble? It says 1 viewer. You guys, Rumble got 1 viewer? Did something happen? Everybody came over to YouTube. I know I'm here, says Craig. Yeah, it says you're the one person here. How many did you see in the number in next to the eyeball? How many people watching? How many viewers do you guys see? You guys don't.
Now it says 19.
Now it says 19?
Yeah.
Dude, is there something wrong with my... Mine says 1. That's weird.
19 now.
And only 2 people are speaking in my chat. Only Asa and Craig Allen. Hey, you. Yes. Yes.
Oh, it's back to 1 again.
19. It's back again to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 viewer. I guess I only have 1 viewer, everybody.
I'm no fan of the Chinese Communist government. I'm the least favorite person you'll ever find, or one of the biggest critics of the Chinese government. But there's a difference between not giving them money and then an economic embargo. So while I'm not for giving China any money, giving them any research money, I'm not for preventing us from having trade with China. Trade is largely beneficial to both countries.
Your points are well taken and well made.
Oh, we're going to hear that again, folks.
The first. Your point. Your point. Your point. Your point. Your point. Your points are well taken and well made. I'm not. The First Amendment issue, I'll put aside for just 1 second. We'll get to it. But on the issue of ownership, you've taken a very strong line about espionage in the United States and what the government should and should not be able to do. Would you be okay with the U.S. government being able to demand at any time without a warrant all of the things that TikTok is going to be forced to hand over to the Chinese? Everything from people's photos on their phone to their location information.
Absolutely not. But, TikTok is not going into your house and taking your stuff. People sign up with TikTok the same way they sign up with Google, Facebook, or any of the other big tech companies, and they do all scrape your information. So if you don't like TikTok doing it, then you want to pass a law to ban it from all countries from absorbing your information, you could. But if you're going to accuse a particular company of a crime and you're going to say that they're giving it to the government of China, one, you would have to prove that. That's an accusation. That's not something that's been proven by anyone. We know that the Chinese government does demand things, but we don't know that any information really is going from TikTok to any of these people in China.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation.
He cuts off the end of the fucking interview. You guys see that? What a fucking dick.
On your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below.
You're a fucking idiot, dude. Ron Paul destroyed you and you didn't even play the whole fucking interview. You're a douchebag. Ban TikTok and Instagram. Yeah, ban everything. Ban fucking YouTube where you type that comment, you fucking idiot. Fucking idiots. I can't even. Let's see if it's up again. If it's up yet, I should say.
Elon Musk tells Don Lemon, quote, contract is canceled, end quote. Now, in a moment, I'm going to speak exclusively with Don Lemon, and he has clips of the nearly hour-and-a-half interview with Musk. Clips like this one that we received from Don's production team.
Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on the X platform and you asked for it. Otherwise, I would not do this interview.
So you don't think? Do you think that you wouldn't get in trouble, or you wouldn't be criticized for these things?
I'm criticized constantly. I could care less.
We're going to have more clips from Lemon's interview with Musk in a moment. In a statement earlier today, Lemon writes in part, quote, there were no restrictions on the interview that he willingly agreed to. We had a good conversation. Clearly, he felt differently. His commitment to a global town square where all questions can be asked and all ideas can be shared seems not to include questions of him from people like me. Now, CNN reached out to X for their comment, and their response is, quote, we reserve the right to make decisions about our business partnerships, and after careful consideration, X decided not to enter into a commercial partnership with the show. Now,
after careful consideration and a fucking demand from the goddamn owner,
and he bought Twitter again and again and again.
Well, I think it's very important for there to be an inclusive arena for free speech, where all Twitter has become kind of the de facto town square. Free speech is meaningless unless you allow people you don't like to say things you don't like. Otherwise, it's irrelevant. I really can't emphasize this enough. We must protect free speech, and free speech only matters. It's only relevant when it's someone you don't like saying something you don't like. It's damn annoying when someone you don't like says something you don't like. That is a sign of a healthy, functioning free speech situation.
Again and again and again. And remember, Musk's X has over 250 million daily active users. 250 million people on this planet resolve it. It is the town square. And joining me exclusively out front is Don Lemon. So Don, You do this 90-minute long interview with Musk. You sit down with him. This is the culmination. He had actively courted you to come on one of his tweets. Have you considered doing your show on this platform? Maybe worth a try. Audience is much bigger. It had been public. Then you had
11.
Reached a deal. I'll talk about that later. Then he texts 24 hours after this 90-minute long interview, which is the first of your show launching.
Mine still says 1.
He says contract is canceled. What happened?
First of all, it's good to see you, Aaron. Thank you for having me on. That's a good question for Elon Musk. Quite frankly, what happened? I don't know. As I said in my statement, I felt really good about the interview. I said to him as we were doing the interview, and it was tense at moments, but you've been involved in tense interviews. Yeah. I said to him, I think it's good that people see folks like you and I who have different worldviews come together and talk, as he says, have free speech. Free speech is only important when someone you don't like, or I would say someone who doesn't have your same point of view, or someone is, if they're allowed to speak freely and to say their point of view. Apparently that doesn't matter to Elon Musk. It's just for maybe talking points for
Right.
him or rhetoric.
Everything is rhetoric for Elon
It doesn't
Musk.
seem to matter when it's about him.
Glad you're
Questions
realizing
about
it
him
now.
for People like me.
All
You know,
so
we've
when you
known
said
Elon
that,
Musk
I
was a
played some
cunt
clips because some of them
for
are
a long
clips
time
that
here, guys.
You shared with us. This is a part of the conversation with Musk where you ask him about hate speech. Here it is.
Interesting.
Hate speech on the platform is up. Do you believe that X and you have some responsibility to moderate hate speech on the platform? That you wouldn't have to answer these questions from reporters about the Great Replacement Theory as it relates to
I don't have to
Democrats,
answer these
the Great
questions.
Replacement Theory as it relates to Jewish people? Do you think that?
I don't have to answer questions from reporters. Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on the X platform and you asked for it. Otherwise, I would not do this interview.
So you don't?
Wow, that was weird. He completely avoided the question. Did you guys catch that? Do you want to hear the question again, guys, and hear the way Elon Musk answered it? It's pretty much is the definition of a psychotic narcissist. Oh my God. Listen to this again.
Hate speech on the platform
Is up.
is up. Do you believe that X and you have some responsibility to moderate hate speech on the platform? That you wouldn't have to answer these questions from reporters about the Great Replacement Theory as it relates
I
to
don't have to
Democrats,
answer these
the
questions.
Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Jewish people? Do you think that?
I don't have to answer questions from reporters. Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is
I don't have to answer questions. I don't have to answer questions. So that's it. That's the answer. He doesn't have to answer questions. He's, the richest man in the world. He doesn't have to answer questions.
because you're on the X platform and you asked for it. Otherwise, I would not do this interview.
So you don't think? Do you think that you wouldn't get in trouble or you wouldn't be criticized for these things?
I'm
or that
criticized
there was-
constantly. I could care less.
Illuminating in so many ways. All right, I have two things I want to ask you about that, Don. First, the Great Replacement Theory. As you bring it up, he has tweeted a tweet he shared: increasing illegals boost Dem voting power, causing them to recruit more. If Dems win President, House, and Senate, they'll grant citizenship to all illegals, and America will become a permanent one-party deep socialist state. Right? He has gone there directly. How much does he stand by these ideas?
Well, he didn't quite seem to understand that he did, originally he did that with Jewish people, sort of a Great Replacement Theory thing that he did with Jewish people, and he got in trouble and he had to go to Auschwitz and answer questions and apologize and go with Ben Shapiro. But he doesn't understand that sort of rhetoric that he talks about, the Great Replacement Theory and migrant invasion, that's what radicalized shooters use in their manifestos, those exact words. The people who go and shoot up people, whether they be Latino people who live in Texas or black people who are in a supermarket in Buffalo, or Jewish people who are worshiping, those people use the same rhetoric, that they are tropes, that they're either racist for Latinos or black people or for Jewish people. And I wanted to know if he felt any responsibility as someone who has one of the largest social media and information platforms in the world.
250 million people.
A quarter
that's what you
billion
said.
people. I think it's 455 or 500 million users a week. And it doesn't seem that he feels that he has any responsibility with that, because he seemed really averse to facts.
Here's another clip. You talked about ketamine in this particular instance, something that he has discussed before. Here he is.
You talk about your ketamine use and depression. Have you also have said, and
The reason I should say, the reason I mentioned the ketamine prescription on the X platform was because I thought maybe this is something that could help other people. That's why I mentioned it. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, but I would say if someone has depression issues, they should consider talking to their doctor about ketamine instead of SSRIs.
Very civil conversation, but that is where it got very personal.
well, it got personal, but I didn't put that out there. He has spoken very freely about his use of, those are prescription drugs, but about his use of ketamine. I would not have brought it up if
Well,
it was.
on X, he posted
He
it.
posted it.
Yeah.
So I would not have brought it up because that's someone's personal information. So I asked him about it. Also, it's no secret. His drug use, or alleged drug use, I should say, has been extensively written about it by very credible news organizations like the Wall Street Journal. And I asked him that, and he said, listen, I have not read the Wall Street Journal. I don't read the Wall Street Journal. If I don't have time to read about everything that people write about me, I would never get anything done. But also, if we remember, on Joe Rogan, he took a puff of marijuana, right? And he said it was just
Right.
a joke and I only took one puff. Elon Musk is responsible for satellites, for Starlink. He's responsible for Tesla. He's responsible for a number of different companies on the stock market.
So,
And I think that it is important for people to understand his mindset, whether he's using drugs illegally
Why?
or not, and even
Why?
even if the ones he.
why does it bother you, Don Lemon, that the richest man in the world actually has a little drug habit? Well, you know, this is what I would say to you, Don Lemon. If the richest man in the world is using drugs, you know, maybe more people would benefit from using drugs. You fucking idiot. I mean, you're not helping anything by saying the richest man in the world is using drugs. You're what are you trying to say? Look, he can't be possibly couldn't be a successful person because he uses drugs. Oh, really? He's the richest man on the planet, Don. What's your point, Don? You're going nowhere with this, Don. Let's see if Erin bails you out of this. Let's see if she sees it for what it is.
He's
Well,
using
he's
that's
one of the
supposed to
most
be,
powerful people on the
but that's he's one. But ones that he's supposed to be, that he is using prescription-wise, that he's following a doctor's orders under that. But yes, he's one of the most consequential people to the planet, and that was one reason why I was attracted to that.
In this conversation, you did talk about Trump. And again, given his role as one of the most powerful people in the world, running X, who he is going to support, whether he donates, the meeting that he took at Mar-a-Lago is of huge consequence in the context of everything that he tweets. And here's part of the conversation you had with him about Trump.
You recently met with Donald Trump in Florida. What did you guys talk about?
I was at a breakfast at a friend's place, and Donald Trump came by. That's it.
What did you discuss?
I don't. Let's just say he did most of the talking.
Did he ask you for money?
He didn't.
Are you going to loan him money to help pay his legal bills?
I'm not paying his legal bills in any way, shape, or form.
Did he ask you for a donation?
No.
Are you leaning towards anyone?
No.
You're not leaning towards anyone. Because you've been
Well, let me say I'm leaning away from Biden.
you're leaning
The trademark laugh there,
Yeah.
which, by the way, in the context of the contract is canceled 24 hours after that interview, it just shows there was a lot of back and forth and give and take. What did you take away from his comments on politics?
Well, he says he's not going to endorse anyone now, but he may do it later. He says he's not going to give money to anyone now, but he may do it later. You never know with him. He may, be endorsing someone now on the platform. But, what's interesting to me in all of that and all these questions that, about...
Don Lemon got fired.
I asked Elon, what happened? What did I do?
Yep.
During the course of that interview, I never raised my voice. I told him, I think this is important for people to hear, especially considering how the type of discourse that we're having in the country right now. And he supposedly says this is a public square for all. Maybe we're learning that a public square should not be privately owned by someone who doesn't think that there should be any moderation.
Oh, now that you've
So,
lost your job, now
it's
you're gonna
interesting
fight for
because at the
everybody's
end, I could
voice.
tell that he was
Funny,
upset.
huh?
He was uncomfortable. It was tense. And I said, listen, I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable. As a matter of fact, I would go and have a beer and hash these things out. You and I do not disagree. You and I do not agree on much.
Yeah.
But I will fight for your right to be able to say what you want to say. That's what freedom of speech means to me.
And 24 hours later, then.
And 24 hours later,
The
it
text
means
comes.
freedom of speech does not mean, I guess, the same thing to him as it does to me.
All right, you guys.
Negative $50? But I need scratch tickets today! How else am I gonna buy more scratch tickets? Alright, think. How can I make money fast? Alright, you young-ish, you got some decent knees on a good day, you got the camera on, and you're filming a show as we speak, you have zero empathy, maybe some kind of a murder thing, there's gotta be a country where murder is legal, but crap, I do have empathy, damn! I keep forgetting that for some reason. Okay, come on, brain, alright, juice me hard. Juice me up, brain! Ha-ha! I got it! I use this camera that's on to make a video since we're already doing that. A video you can't resist. Something with sex and danger and movies. What combines movies with news and sex? Lots of sex. Slops of sex. You know what, baby. Into the Ben Shapiro verse, Part 1, The Barbie Wars, Episode 4, Redemption of the Dragon Sphere 2, 4. Heck yes! Oh, it's been too long, Ben. Time for some low-hanging fruit. The tastiest of fruits. Like succulent elder testicles unfurling from the loose leg sleeve of a gym short they are. Gross. But also profitable. We'll even make it 2 parts long, like that elder's long balls. Okay, so here's some epic news. I don't know if you know this, and in fact, I hope you don't, because it means that you live a healthy life. But the conservative political news organization, The Daily Wire, is making original and apolitical content now. Movies, TV shows, you know this stuff. Make-believe, flim-flam. It's a real funded by a fracking billionaire to riches story for them. Because, since their humble fracking beginnings, the Daily Wire has grown to making a reported $200 million in revenue with, according to them, 1 million subscribers as of 2022. That number's probably right. Honestly, it's lower than I assumed, and is probably higher now.
Yeah, 1 million.
As of this year, the Daily Wire is the 7th largest publisher for podcasts in the United States of America. In 2020, they moved to a subscription-based model.
Think about
in an
that.
attempt.
Louis Rossman has twice as many subscribers as fucking The Daily Wire. Louis Rossman. It's fucking crazy.
To establish themselves as a sort of right-wing version of Netflix. Because, you see, movies are woke, alright? And actually, they're so woke that they're way too woke. Did you know that? Did you know that mainstream movies are so woke and the media is woke and full of woke lies about woke stuff? And women just need to, butt out, honestly. And so what you gotta do, you see, is you gotta get all your news and your media from just a handful of non-woke guys. In fact, what if they're anti-woke? Yeah, that's the place to be. Not because it's a grift or a way to trap you into an ideological bubble, but because everyone and every product is woke except them.
Gillette razors used to be the best a man could get. Then they decided that men are too toxic. Unless you're the kind of man who teaches his daughter to shave her beard. If that makes sense to you, keep buying Gillette. But if you've had enough of the woke bullshit, and you're tired of paying companies like Harry's and Gillette to hate you, and buy my new razor instead.
That's an ad for the Daily Wire's own Jeremy's Razors. And did it seem oddly paced to anyone else?
Yes.
Like when he says, keep buying Gillette, and we get this weird silence as the camera pushes in on the kid shaving, which we already saw and didn't need an extra beat on. There's no music either. This ad clearly has a big budget, but they're trying to do this snappy walk and talk thing like one of those fast-paced Old Spice commercials from, 15 years ago. Or those Dollar Shave Club commercials from 12 years ago. The guy's doing a bunch of quote-unquote random and quote-unquote awesome CEO things, and we're supposed to be zipping through each of them.
Like
But
Dr.
it feels like
Squatch
they don't
soap
quite understand how
commercial.
to do that in the edit, and so every transition takes slightly too long. It's a 4-minute ad that has 30 seconds of information in it, and I've already forgotten why we wanted to show it to you in the first place. Was it because the non-woke razors have gotten a ton of really bad reviews? No, but they have. Bad reviews from, one assumes,
Like
Daily
an old
Wire
razor
fans
you're
who
about to
wanted
throw
to
away.
support the
We're using
Daily
the one.
Wire by buying a quality, non-woke razor.
I ripped my
The most
skin
common
off with these
complaint seems to be
razors.
that they break easily and are dull right out of the box, which kind of makes them already broken. But no, this was all just so you could meet Jeremy Boring, also dull out of the box, who is in fact, quote, the God King and CEO of the Daily Wire.
Oh, hi. I'm Jeremy Boring, CEO and God King of the Daily Wire.
So cool. And while we put Ben's name in the title, for sex appeal, obviously, we're probably going to spend a lot of time on this super boring fellow, considering that you probably don't know who he is. But it turns out that J-Bor is not only responsible for a small collection of poorly reviewed anti-woke products, and they are all very poorly reviewed, but he's also the guy behind the current push from the Daily Wire to make original content focused on entertainment, and who knows, maybe even art. Content that coincidentally features a lot of bitter and coincidentally explicitly conservative actors and comedians. There's of course Gina Carano, who starred in the, according to some right-winger reviews, woke Daily Wire movie Terror on the Prairie. You may recall that she was fired from The Mandalorian after a series of bizarre social media posts about how hating conservatives is like hating Jews during the Holocaust or something. Anyway, Gina refused to bow down to the woke mob and stood her ground and doesn't regret anything and is happy over the Daily Wire, but also is suing Lucasfilm specifically to force them to write her back into the show that she doesn't need and doesn't miss but desperately wants to be back on by law. Everyone clap, by law. Meanwhile, Daily Wire is also making an adult animated series called Mr. Bircham that stars such comedic icons as Adam Carolla, Roseanne Barr, and it says here Megyn Kelly and Candace Owens. Wow. Can I get a taste?
Don't do anything stupid, than last year.
Oof. Bad taste. That is not great line delivery. But that's okay. It's not her fault. She's not an actress. They shouldn't have put her in this. It's a political and news organization made up of political pundits. So, of course, the show is about a, quote, no-nonsense shop teacher trying to survive in an overly PC world. The big boast or draw is, of course, that it's anti-woke. And, okay, yeah, sure, cool, all right. It looks just so very okay.
You ever see a vegan wolf on the Nature Channel? I'm a vegan.
Neat joke that Futurama made a better version of 24 years ago. Turns out that Carolla has been trying to make this show since 2011, a year after that first Old Spice commercial and a year before that first Dollar Shave Club commercial. And it turns out in 2011, nobody would touch it. Probably because it's bad, but I don't know, I haven't seen it. According to Boring, Adam Carolla created Bircham back before Barack Obama killed comedy. Of course, Hollywood wouldn't make Bircham today because they've stopped making comedies altogether for fear of offending the wrong people. So we realized we had to do it. First of all, they've stopped making comedies altogether? What? Anyway, get ready to laugh with the comedic stylings of Megyn Kelly reciting jokes that haven't been updated in a decade. Lots of entertainment on the horizon, actually. Jeremy Boring has himself written a non-woke adaptation of Snow White that the Daily Wire will soon produce. He's also going to write and direct an upcoming series based on a book called The Pendragon Cycle, which I'm sure will be thrilling and anti-woke. And of course, the big, meaty sports comedy that is Lady Ballers! You know, the film about a group of men pretending to be trans women to win at basketball. It's their big flagship comedy that Boring not only wrote and directed, but also stars in, along with a bunch of other Daily Wire personalities is generous, but personalities. On top of all of this, the Daily Wire is investing $100 million in children's programming with a spin-off called BAKEY. And this is all, supposedly, in the name of making non-political shows. To quote Jeremy directly, our entertainment content won't be overtly political, but it will reflect our values. Our mission is simple. We will make great entertainment that all Americans can enjoy, regardless of their political views. If you're fed up with the cultural edicts of our country's self-appointed moral overlords in Hollywood and legacy media, stay tuned. Of course, based on their upcoming projects, it sounds more like he means that Jeremy Boring will make great entertainment that all Americans can enjoy. That's interesting. But remember that quote. It's the stated motivation for why the Daily Wire is making original content. Hollywood and big media companies and all movies and TV are obsessed with an overly moralizing agenda. And so the Daily Wire is aiming to make non-political and non-moralizing content that any American can enjoy. We're not going to get too bogged down with the premise that Hollywood is woke, mainly because we did a whole episode about that, but to meet them on their terms. I think the criticism can be distilled down to the idea that movies, and more specifically mainstream movies, should be considered a form of light entertainment with the primary goal of distracting broad audiences from their troubles. And by injecting any political messages into films, regardless of the lean, Hollywood is failing to deliver on that promise. And to an extent, I understand this. A film like Transformers probably shouldn't have some profound message about Palestine. Families don't watch the Minions films to hear about the next election. I mean, I'd argue that these types of films aren't actually doing that, but sure. In a vacuum, I tend to agree that mainstream entertainment shouldn't have niche messages in them if it compromises the stories that they want to tell. That's the key argument, right? That these stories are suffering because of these messages. Bob Iger agrees. And so the Daily Wire is claiming that this is exactly their goal. To let films be films, putting story and entertainment first and not getting bogged down with convoluted or obviously partisan messages. No politics. And now that I've made a big show of setting that up, can we get a few clips from Lady Ballers?
You can't tell a bunch of teenage boys not to steal.
Yes, you can, Gary. It's one of the most important things you should be teaching them. It's literally in the Bible. What's that?
This is the fourth time.
It's the obedience trap, lady. I can't hear anything through it.
This is the fourth time.
Our history teacher led us in a moment of silence for all the workers exploited by the capitalistic system.
You should ask your history teacher which side people ran to when the Berlin Wall fell.
That's from literally the first 10 minutes of the movie that, unlike Hollywood, isn't bogged down with politics or overtly moralizing, and instead tells the story about how the Bible is good and right and socialism is bad and that trans people are sick. A totally non-political movie that almost exclusively stars right-wing podcasters, pundits, and in one case, a literal politician.
Excuse me. Are these seats open? Never mind. Told you we should have sprung for the box seat.
Hey! What's the joke there? Was there a joke?
Yeah, right.
What was that? What was all of that? The lady glared at him and then he said he should have gotten box seats?
Right.
And then the scene ends?
Right.
Why would they do that? You had Ted Cruz, America's Rash, and you didn't do anything with him. Have him say he should have gone to Cancun. Lean into it. Have fun. How boring. But listen, we're not going to talk about how incredibly bad Lady Ballers is. We're going to do that in part 2. Like, that's going to be the entire second video to this. But right now, I just wanted to highlight how brazenly silly it is for Jeremy Boring to...
That, I'm just going to say this. That movie looks so bad. It's like you have like some kind of a sick curiosity. You're just like, I kind of just want to see it just to see how bad it is, because it is so bad you could just tell. And you know, it's just, you're going to walk away and it's just going to be like, I'll never get that time back in my life. It's that kind of a movie where you won't even watch it for that, because you know you'll never get that time back in your life that you spent watching how bad that movie was. It looks horrible. Totally not interested. This guy's fucking hilarious though. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching my show. I'll see you on the next one. All 1 of you on Rumble and the 23 of you so that aren't typing at all, supposedly 23 across my other channels. Are you guys unable to type as well? Where are you guys at? Oh, there's Baba Blue Jaws. Wow. Have you been here? Have you been here not saying hello to me? Tell me now. Only 4 people watch. What the fuck?
That's weird.
Dude, 11 people watching on Twitter? What? How are there 11 people watching on Truthier News on Twitter? You guys, really? Oof. Oh, yeah. Wait. Truth teller Rand Paul destroys. Hey guys on TikTok. I mean on Twitter. Posts. But you can't like there's no chat there. Is there a chat? You guys, there's all of you guys are watching over here. I'm here. Look, I'm going to say yo. Look, it comes right up. Why don't you say hello to me, guys? Click on the video and come on in. It says there's 11 of you watching on Truthier. You guys are watching on Truthier News, at Truthier News on Twitter. Can any of you say hi in the chat? Or, oh, God. Thank you, Rising. So, one of you said hello to me. You just got here, Baba Blue Jaws? I don't know. It just says there's one person watching on Rumble. It's the counter is acting really weird. Heavy P is there. Craig is there. Baba Blue Jaws is there. There's definitely more than 3 people watching on Rumble because you're chatting. I don't know who these 11 people that are watching from. Well, it says 11 over there. How many does it say right here? 14 views, it says. Nobody else is going to say anything. It's so weird, man. So, am I to assume that the 11 viewers on live, 14 views? None of you can say anything in the chat? Not one of you can click inside to just tell me who you are?
Maybe they don't know how on Truth Here.
Right? I had to click on the video. I clicked on the video. It opened up a page that brought up the chat. And it says, say something.
Right, so say something, but here's the thing. Let me look at this real quick. If they don't have this, I'm gonna have to exit theater mode. Theater mode. Make sure. I guess it was hard to. Maybe they fixed the chat on.
It's on their phones. If you guys are watching on your phones on Truthier News, at Truthier News, it says I've got 14 viewers. And you're telling me that none of you over there on Twitter can figure out how to get in that chat? Just click on it, click on the video. Get out of theater mode if that's confusing you, or scroll up on the bottom of the screen, pull up the chat, and try to say something on Twitter. We go through this everywhere. People are unable to type, or just, how can I have this many viewers on Twitter and not one of them can say hello to me? This is so confusing for me. I think it's a glitch. I don't think there's people there. Yeah, I think it's a glitch. I think it's some kind of a weird tracking glitch. Did Joe Rogan interview Donald Trump on his show? Elon is trolling me? Yeah, I guess. I guess. Minutes.
Pretend like he's making non-political content. Matt Walsh, who, geez, is also in Lady Ballers, even called them conservative
Matt Walsh is such an asshole.
Media in his tweet about how actors were apparently too scared to be in this very, very bad, embarrassing film. I guess no one told him to pretend this was non-political. And look, we're not going to spend a lot of time
3.5% of the world uses
clearly
it.
political things are, in fact, political. But what might surprise you is that some of their content is, in fact, non-political at first glance. Specifically their children's content, such as Chipchilla, which tends to focus on basic moral lessons for kids. When they do talk about politics, it's fairly harmless, like this episode where the kids are president for a day by wearing a wig.
Well, I have a new rule. I get to have the wig longer. What? No fair. Don't worry. I just want to make sure you all stay as happy as you are right now.
Hey, great point about how presidents shouldn't be dictators. Seems like a lesson a few people need to hear. Unrelated fact, the dad is voiced by Trump and RFK supporter Rob Schneider. I don't know. Pretty funny that even conservative-led children's shows teach morals that adult conservatives don't seem to learn. And of course, it would be naive to say that Chip Chilla doesn't have any political leaning when you stand back and look at what the show does and doesn't do.
No, it says there's 17 people watching me on Truthier News. The number just keeps going up and up. I mean, if you're watching on Twitter, click on the video, like click on the words underneath the video so it gets you into the broadcast section. That'll bring up the messages part and you'll be able to type in a message that we'll be able to see on chat. Can any of you do that? Supposedly there's, I mean, maybe you have to be following Truthier News. Maybe you guys that are watching aren't following my channel. Maybe follow Truthier on Twitter if you're new or something. It says there's 17 people watching, guys. Can one of you figure out how to chat in the chat if there's 17 people there? Just if you're watching on Twitter from Truthier News, click on the video and try to chat over on the right where it says messages. See if you can send a message, guys.
The show is commonly accepted as a conservative rip-off of Bluey, a children's cartoon from Australia. It's not hard to see why when the animation and general premise are basically the same. They're both about a family of gross animals that go on role-playing adventures to learn or whatever. Who gives a shit? And even Chip Chilla's theme song sounds vaguely like Bluey's. They really are quite similar. Of course, the Daily Wire denies this, their reasoning being that Chip Chilla can't be a, quote, conservative ripoff of Bluey because Bluey is already conservative. You see, it's not a conservative ripoff, just a normal ripoff. But whether or not they were trying to copy Bluey, which they probably were, I mean, here's the original art style. Why did they change it to be closer to Bluey? This is all to say that the one actual difference between the shows is pretty telling. Specifically, that in Bluey, the mom has a job and also likes to play hockey, while the dad often stays at home with the kids, otherwise known as communism. As you can already guess, in Chip Chilla, the father is the singular breadwinner and the mom cooks and cleans. Which is all to say that the Daily Wire looked at Bluey, a show they apparently considered to be conservative, and decided that it still wasn't conservative enough, and made the exact same show but with a few anti-woke tweaks. A show that, by the way, is apparently kind of bad. Despite not being overtly political, Chip Chilla is poorly reviewed for being a generally boring kids show. Not harmful, just bland. Like having sex with oatmeal, or, I guess, eating oatmeal, if you're depraved like that. But of course, all of the Daily Wire's endeavors are popularly regarded as bad and derivative. As we just said, Chip Chilla is very obviously a Bluey ripoff. And then Lady Ballers, the film that Hollywood is too scared to make, was already made several times by Hollywood.
Wow, that's funny. Yep, basically the exact same premise. So, 19 viewers now on Twitter. I'm going to ask you one more time. If you're watching on Twitter under Truthier News, can any of you able to type something? Now it went to 21 views. Are you any of you able to type something in the messages portion of this video? at all? Are you guys able to do that? I've got nothing here. Scroll right to the to Truthier News. You'll see the video. Click on the video on the below it, and it'll open up a page that says broadcast, and from inside that broadcast page it says there's 21 of you. You guys able to say anything? Any of you? 21 viewers. I got 3 viewers on Rumble. 22 viewers. What is going on? That cannot be real. Certainly someone should be able to type something in there. Certainly. One of you guys could certainly... 24 viewers now. Come on. What is going on with this? Somebody say something. If you're there, say something in the chat on Twitter. Just click on the video, guys. It'll take you to the broadcast page, right? There on the right side of my screen, there's a chat. You can say something. I'm watching on a web browser. Maybe you're watching on your phone. But, I mean, if you're watching this show, can you figure out
Even that razor ad I showed is, as I mentioned, trying to pull their tone from Old Spice and Dollar Shave Club ads. Run, hide, fight, terror on the prairie. We've made so many of these Death Wish style home invasion films that it's hard to keep track. Oh, is your Adam Carolla show about a funny conservative guy who doesn't understand this liberal world and his geeky, quote, gaming streamer son? Yeah, it's called American Dad. It's been on since 2005, and many of their writers are funnier and prettier than your writers. They're adding nothing to the zeitgeist. And by they, I specifically mean the Daily Wire. Because I'd argue that, unlike our video about comedy, modern conservatives can make movies and TV shows. Adam Sandler, Jon Voight, Gary Sinise, Chris Pratt, Vince Vaughn. These are all conservative-leaning talents who have done very good work. Clint Eastwood is an incredible director and also a right-wing wacko who talks to chairs. Heck, there are movies that I'm not even sure were made by conservatives that have extremely conservative messages. Most comedies about an accidental pregnancy hinge on the main character refusing to get an abortion despite being unequipped for parenthood. Those two movies are both from 2007 for some reason. I guess we were really into that. Or remember when Pixar made several films about how the powerful and strong are being held back by the mediocre need for equality? Or when the first Kingsman movie told us that the Democrats were teaming up with the rich elite to take over the world, at least until they explode Obama's head at the end. So no, this is not a video about how conservatives can't make movies. They can, and many of them are really good at it. This is actually a video about how Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring and the Daily Wire specifically can't make good movies. Because why not? We like having fun here. We're also going to investigate why they're even trying, and why this matters at all. In fact, after the break, we're gonna dig into just that, and also we're gonna tell you how you can double your brain power for just $50 or some garbage. Stay tuned. Oh God, it's you. I knew you'd find me eventually. Well, I'm here. You win. Your prize? To hear about Ground News, a sponsor that we specifically sought out to do ads for. See, they're a news aggregate site that shows how the media around the world is covering any single story and... Do banks have guards still? You never see guards these days. Ah, neat! You're back. We're back. Did you like those ads? Please use the promo codes in those ads. Also, it was cocaine. The thing that doubles your brain power is cocaine. I told you, therefore, you owe me $50 by law.
Doubles
That's
your
a
brain
legal
power.
agreement. Anywho, hi. We were talking about how Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire have decided to create an alternate, non-woke version of Hollywood. And at this point, you might be asking why they even care at all. Well, I can actually let Ben Shapiro answer that. Quote, my mentor, Andrew Breitbart, always said politics is downstream of culture. What he meant by this is that more people are shaped by the culture that surrounds them than by politics directly. We consume movies and TV shows. We get together and discuss the latest in sports. We join in churches and at universities and at restaurants to discuss our lives. We swim in a sea of culture. In large part, we're defined by the culture in which we swim. It's a cool metaphor about how culture is like a sea, but also politics is downstream from it, I guess, which... That's not how seas work, Ben. Rivers don't flow away from seas, Ben. But sure. But also, can't politics influence culture too? Why is it a stream at all? Seems like they're bad at words. But what Breitbart said, and what Ben was trying to say, is that people's politics are often dictated by the morals in movies and TV and music and art and culture they absorb. And that's not entirely wrong. Of course, as I already pointed out, there are already plenty of conservatives making movies and TV, but whatever. If you're someone like Ben who believes he is losing this so-called culture war, it makes sense to spin off his own entertainment company. It also explains why the Daily Wire seems obsessed with, let's say, parodying the aesthetic of mainstream culture.
You gotta click.
I mean,
You gotta
pop
click
culture,
on
all
the
of our
video,
movies, our social media,
and then
they're all
you have to
run
turn
by
off theater
progressive
mode.
mentalities. It's obnoxious. So we've decided to change that. Like, we deserve better. We deserve content that is irreverent and fun, but without leftism, being shoved down our throat. So, this show was born.
Why does
I'm
she
Brett
look?
Cooper, and
Why
this
does
is
she
the
look
comment
just
section.
like Ben Shapiro in woman form?
You might be familiar with Brett Cooper, or not. I don't know you. I'm sure you're nice, though. I also don't really want to pick on Brett because she's like 20 and could potentially turn her life around. But currently, she's the host of the Daily Wire's The Comments section with Brett Cooper, which is basically a repackaged teen version of Ben Shapiro's show.
Huh.
Her mission statement reflects the exact strategy Ben was talking about. And heck, who am I to argue with the spawn of America? After all, Brett appears to be just an everyday young woman making her scrappy
Hey.
YouTube/streaming show.
Here's an idea. If one of you is watching this and you're unable to chat, why don't you tweet at Truthier News right now? Send me a tweet at Truthier News. Because nobody's done that. 4 views, 2 views, 7 views, 1 view, 8 views, 12 views, 5 views, 18 views, wow, 18 views, 11 views, 14 views, 2 views, 15 views, 9 views, 17. It looks like it just tracks how many people have watched total. It's not giving a live count. Yeah. All right. So, you could tweet at me. You can tweet at Truthier News right now, guys. Just to show me that you're live, that you're there watching. It says 24 people are watching. I'm just going to see if one of you will tweet at Truthier, man. Go ahead. Anybody? Nothing? Not getting anything? We are done, guys. Thanks for watching. Love y'all. I'll see you on the next show. You guys know how to find me on the internet. Bye. Oh, all of a sudden it says 12 people watching on Rumble. Really? How many people are watching on the main channel on YouTube? 5? God, there's a lot of you here, man. Billy Valentine joined Instagram. So did Mary. Right. Now all of a sudden it says 12 people. No one's really talking to me. Craig says the sun is bright. Heavy P says he's cooking breakfast. And Baba Blue Draws didn't see a chat box on mobile. Alright. Cool. I will see you guys on the next show. You guys take care. Peace.